Welcome to another 3DSMAX warm-up. Today we're going to be doing a chess piece. Not playing chess, making chess. Chess in the making, chess make. Sounds like a wood, chess make. Maybe because it sounds like chestnut. I smell fresh cut wood. Oh, wait, no, that's just my shirt. Sorry. All right, anyway. So here we go. We're going to be making this chess piece. We could drag in a silhouette and put it on a plane, but we're just going to kind of practice here. So we're going to go into our front viewport, and I'm going to do Alt-W to make that bigger. So front viewport. And I want this black line here to be my bottom, right? I'm going to have it there. Create. We're going to go to create shapes, splines, and we're going to use the line tool. Now there are two things that you need to know, right? Creating a straight point and creating a curved point. A straight point, you just click. So the top of my pawn or chess piece here, I'm going to click. I'm going to end up having a straight piece there. Right, to create a curved point, you simply click and drag. So I'm going to create one here, and I'm going to create one here. And let's see here. And I always do my points on not where the actual curve is, but in between to kind of control half of each curve. Makes more sense. So we'll do another one here. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to edit this in a second. And for this last point here, I'm going to you can hold shift and it'll keep it straight in line. I'm just going to line it up right there. And when you're all done, you just right click. Then we're going to go to modify. Call this ChessPawn right here. And make it this orange color here. And now we can go in here and edit. So you want to hit W, which can move, rotate, and scale because you can click the handles. So I'm going to straighten this out. You could also scale them, which will basically kind of move the handles all the way in, almost as if it's a straight point. And if you need to add a point, you can do insert and click and drag, and then click and drag, and right click when you're done. Oh, and if it gets there it goes. If it gets difficult rotating it, like moving the handles, you could just use rotate and kind of fix that up. There we go. So this is really just kind of touching it up, getting whatever shape you want for your pawn, however you want it to be. Like here, I might want to round this out more. You do want this to be slightly flat, just a little bit. And that's just kind of being nitpicky. You can make whatever kind of pawn you want. And that's pretty much it. That's the line tool. So the next thing that we're going to do is lathe. And you just hit L after the drop down and put the lathe modifier on that. And you'll notice, right, it's lathing it. All right, you got to make sure you check that out, right? And it's using this pivot point almost for the lathe, and that is the also kind of the axis, which you don't have to move right now, but that's the axis. This is center, I believe. If we do max, it basically does the outside. You can see the pawn. Look at that. That's the outside, right? Except for it's also taking this right here and putting it over here. So I wouldn't make a vase this way because I need to fix some things. I'm going to have some geometry problems here. And we can look at this. I mean, that big hole in there, candlestick almost, but with some stuff that I need to fix. We got center, F for front view, and we got minimum. So minimum's what we want, and you can see if we go into perspective here, you can see the degrees. That's what spins it around. That's what a lathe does. It spins it around. And so we just want to keep that at 360. And how many ever segments you want. I would do like 16, or preferably is usually what I'll do. We can always do a turbo smooth, or you could do 32. Should make this even smoother, right? Now, if for some reason yours goes black, first thing you might check is go down to line, turn on show end result, okay? And I would probably turn off your wireframe doing F4, your edges, and J for the bounding box. So that way you can kind of see if you get like a black area up here, it's because your point isn't all the way at the center. And if you go too far over, you get a gaping hole too, where the geometry is collapsing. So you really want it to be just right, and you can zoom in. We could always collapse that later with Edit Poly if you really needed to make this into an object or 3D printable, right? So we got a little bit of a weird dip here. Might need to just totally straighten out this point. But anyway, there we have it. I mean, it's looking pretty good. We can duplicate this, make a copy. I'll spell it how I want to. Oh, you thought I didn't hear you? Yeah, I heard that. Now, anyway, so we can take this, and I can simply come in here, tweak a few things, and all of a sudden we have a rook. I want to make this thicker, right? So, or I could keep the same base, but nonetheless, it's not all the way done, but for the basics, we've pretty much got it down. So there's 2 chess pieces, right? And you could keep going and use this to duplicate and modify. You can drop down and change your stuff. You could do wireframe or whatnot. I can even, if I wanted twisted geometry, right, I can move my point, which you see I changed it off the edge, which curves these as it lays it around. So if I wanted to get a twisted shape, look at that, that's kind of a little bit different. Right, we could do that and then throw on and Edit Poly. You don't have to do this. It's just for fun. Right, but I could do an inset. Let's do 0.1. And then an extrude. Doing a negative. Ooh, looks like I might have to fix some of this up here. And I'm going to twist it over just a little bit. And I'll put a turbo smooth on it. And I got this little sweet detail in there. Oh, looks like I accidentally did it there too. Whoops. Anyway, you can see my top is a little bit off. But you can have a lot of fun with this. The purpose of the lathe is going to be for more complex and smooth curves, right? So, yeah, you could make a chess piece out of a cylinder, and so on and so forth. But if you want to have really nice curves and all that, whether you're making a banister rail like for fancy fence post, or for like the railing that might go on your stairway, or a loft, balcony, those type things. You could even do it for a fancy lamp or other decorations, or a fancy candlestick holder. And this will simplify things because you can do it really quickly, whereas if you were trying to bevel, Imagine how many times I have to bevel this and turbo smooth and fix the edges and get all that right. This is a lot faster to do it this way. And I forgot to mention, sometimes your lathe can be off the axis here, and when that's the case, you just have to kind of check and see where it's at, and you can move it, because sometimes your objects will go black and you'll see like this glow looking. That probably means your axis is off, and it's usually either the Y or the X that you have to move it, right? And the axis, that's basically where the pivot is, right? And there's a whole lot of other options in here, but we're going to call that pretty solid right there.